How one woman with one idea is bringing hope to millions of kids. Next on the Feel Good Frequency.
She's a friend who'll show up with coffee or wine when you need it most. But probably wine. Good vibes are on the way. Welcome to Aaron O'Malley's Feel Good Frequency.
Hi, welcome to Aaron O'Malley's Feel Good Frequency. I'm Aaron. It is terrific to have you here. Thanks for joining me. A few months back, my kiddo came home from school with a bag filled with really inspirational gifts. And it was called the Happy Hope Bag. And it all started with one woman who had an idea to brighten up the spirits of kids who are having a tough time, either in the hospital, maybe in a shelter. And it has become a worldwide movement. I hope you enjoy my time with the founder and CEO of the Happy Hope Foundation. Emi Burke, I've really been looking forward to speaking with you because over the holidays, my kiddo came home with a Happy Hope bag. And I had never heard of that before. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is adorable. It had crayons and some snacks and just different activities for him to do. I started really looking through it going, where did this come from? Who thought to do something like this? This is the most beautiful idea. And I saw that Walmart was on the bag, but Happy Hope must be who's behind this. And maybe Walmart's a sponsor or something. So I started doing some research and found out that your child goes to the same school as mine. And then I realized you are the CEO and founder of this spectacular organization. So, can you tell me a little bit about Connor?
Absolutely. Connor is my best friend. He is the greatest gift I never knew I needed. And he has truly shown me that each of us can make a difference in the world for others in need. So Connor he's our third son. He's our youngest. And he has struggled with a lot of the things that you and I probably take for granted. Being able to see, being able to walk, the very basic things that truly every child should enjoy. And instead, he has spent much of his life in and out of therapies and hospitals. Connor has tremendous special needs. And so, from the very beginning, from the time he was born, we knew that this was going to be a long road, a long journey. But we chose to look at him as truly a blessing and never as a burden. And I think when you have the perspective of everything in life happens for a reason, and you've got to make lemonade out of lemons. I thought, what are we going to do with this beautiful child? And how am I going to help him to truly find his purpose and fulfill his mission in life? And Connor led me back to this tiny seedling of an idea that I had when I was about 6 years old, making hospital rounds with my father in Baltimore for many years, where I continue to see children with nothing. And I just knew from the time I was a child that there had to be a way that we could harness the power of good through communities. And never in a million years did I ever imagine that it would be our youngest son, Connor, who doctors had said, Emmy, put him in a facility. He's never going to be able to make a difference because he's going to be legally blind. He most likely will never sit or walk or speak. Aaron, I just knew that this child was brought to us to do something really powerful. And so 16 years ago, we set out on a journey. I thought, golly, if we could just pack 200 little bags, and at that time they were Ziploc bags with a couple trinkets inside. And I thought this would be so great if you were in a hospital just to have some scrap pieces of paper and crayons and stickers. As I began speaking to folks, I realized that people wanted to do good. They just didn't know how to do good.
Yes.
And so if we could give them a path forward and really make it easy, we could change the world. And here we are now into our 16th year. We've just crossed 1 million children served.
Oh
And
my gosh.
was just 200 children. But that's the power of doing good and giving back. When you have an idea and you really believe in it, and you don't let anyone derail you, and you just stay focused on the end goal, which to us, children in hospitals or shelters, really any child or adult in need of a boost of hope, nothing will get in your way.
I love everything about this. You said in the beginning you had Ziploc bags. Were you buying the things to put in there, and how did you move forward with this idea?
Yeah, so I had a minivan, which had a lot of room, and so I would go to the Target spot aisle where everything was a dollar at the time.
Mhm.
Connor, that was his favorite place to go, and so I would take him to Target with me because he was going everywhere with me. When you have a child with special needs, you just don't ever feel like you can leave them, and
Yes.
so he was my partner in crime. We started out in the Target spot section, and we would fill up our carts. Sometimes I had 3 full carts, and they would close down an aisle or a lane just for us. Yes, it all came out of our pockets in the very beginning, and then as my friends came on board, I would ask them, "Hey, go to the Target one spot section and pick up as many coloring books and stickers." I had a list. We were very specific, and we were working with a hospital to make sure that these were items that they would take. And folks would come to my dining room table. They'd park in the driveway down the street, and before I knew it, we were popping up tables on the front lawn, down the driveway, in the basement. It was nuts. So that's where I really saw the power of community and people wanting to do good. And when you have people that want to do good, it just feeds upon itself. So then we thought, what if we started going after corporations? And I'll never forget the first organization to come on board was Blue Cross Blue Shield. I thought they were pranking me.
Oh,
Someone called up one day and they said, "Emmy, we'd like to pack like 500 stuffed animal bags for children." And I hung up because I thought somebody was like making fun of my idea.
oh.
Never imagining, because they were going on and on. I thought, I don't believe it, just sounded too good to be true. Because at that time, if someone made a donation of $10, that was a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
But then they called back, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, you weren't kidding."
Oh.
And that has been a long-standing relationship for, definitely the last 15 years. They are one of our biggest partners to date. And when you look at companies coming on board, we have been incredibly blessed because we really do not do any marketing. It's word of mouth. And to reach 1,000,000 children, that takes tremendous power from our corporate organizations that come behind us, and they really put their hands together. We call it hands, heart, head. Everything is working together as one to serve these children.
Oh my gosh. Did you start the nonprofit right away? When Blue Cross Blue Shield got a hold of you, were you already an official nonprofit?
Yeah, I wanted to do things the right way. We made sure that from the beginning, this would be a tax deductible donation for any organization or donor who wanted to make a contribution. And that is the beauty of working with wonderful folks, is that they can use this for their benefit, not only as a tax write-off, but it has become a major team building initiative for companies. Not only do they get that tax write-off, but they also get to join and have their employees do good and give back at work.
There's so many different companies that do this. I saw Amazon, CarMax, NBC, Universal, Dunkin'. The list goes on and on. And I thought, wow, what a great idea. You are bringing people together to not just go sit in a bar and drink. You're actually having them do something that they know is going to end up in the hands of a kiddo who really could use their spirits lifted. How
Right.
can that not lift your team's spirit doing that?
And the beautiful thing, Erin, is that because we have grown so fast over the last 15 years, when we do an event now, almost 100% of the time, someone in that audience who's packing has a child or knows of a child who has received a Happy Hope bag. So we call this full circle giving. You just never know where you may be when something happens and you need it. Recently,
Yes.
we were at an event here in Massachusetts, which is where our headquarters is, and someone in the audience who was packing came over to me and they said, "Emmy, you won't believe it. We were down in Disney and my child, had emergency. We went to the emergency room. Lo and behold, here comes a Happy Hope bag." And, that is
Wow.
just tremendous. Again, full circle giving. You never know when something that you do from your heart is going to impact someone you love, all the way to perhaps your own child.
You are the best spokesperson. you can hear you smiling even if you can't see you. That's what's so great. Your passion is contagious. I saw a video on your Facebook page where you were talking about how you loved walking through the doors of that factory every day. It was
Mm.
a rainy Saturday, and you said, but all I can think of is when I go through those doors, the most beautiful, kind, giving, generous humans are on the other side, and I can't wait to go.
Yeah, we have the best kept secret here on Cape Cod. We have the most beautiful Happy Hope factory that we built back in 2018. When I walked through the front doors back then, it was just a dark office space. I could see light in here. I could see folks doing good and giving back. And this really has become the heartbeat of packing good and giving back to communities. We serve thousands and thousands of children every single month from this hub. So everything that is packed by our corporate partners comes through this facility here. It's spectacular. We have our own print center where we have printers that are running from the time we open to the time we close, creating coloring books and matching cards and You Are Special cards, because every child receives a You Are Special card. Every single item that goes into our Happy Hope bags is really thoughtfully designed from our graphic designers. We all get together and these crazy hamsters in my head that are thinking of colors and shapes and patterns and messaging, and they make it come to life through the different themes that we have that run year round. So the print center is printing all the items, paper items that go into the bags. We design all of our beautiful toys with our manufacturers. And then we have they're like elves. They come into the factory and they help us to prep all of the outbound items that are going out to our corporations. So really, it's like coming to recess every day and seeing all of my favorite friends who have come to do good. And I can't think of a better way to honor Connor's life and other children who are in need of hope than participating in a give back activity. Whether you're a child in a hospital, a child in a shelter, a child impacted by a natural disaster somewhere, you need the same thing. You need to know that your community cares, and it doesn't take a lot to have that feeling in your spirit that, wow, I'm not forgotten. Somebody really cares about me.
Yeah. When Gabe came home with that Happy Hope bag, my husband and I were looking through it and we're going, oh my gosh, this is so thoughtful. I've never seen anything like this. It immediately lifted all of our spirits. And Gabe was excited. He was taking things out to kind of show us. And I thought, okay, whoever thought of this is genius, and I have to have her on the podcast. And what's so great is that for me, I was like, I got to get her on. Because your schedule is jam packed, and so many people want to be part of this that it took a couple months to get you here. And I love that for you because that means there are so many out there looking to do good and to expand what you have started.
Yeah, that was a special project. That was a one-off. We never put food in a bag, but that was a special project that we thought of with our wonderful friends from Walmart, one of our amazing corporate sponsors. And I said to them, as the mother of a child with severe special needs, I want for other children who are walking alongside Connor, I want them to know that communities care about them as well. Because a lot of times I think, well, for our family, I have felt over the years that children like Connor are overlooked.
Yes.
Can't speak. He's not going to interact with you most likely. He just has a lot of challenges. I call them not disabilities, but rather different abilities. He speaks to me through his eyes and his heart, which I think is just so magical. But yeah, kids often are overlooked. And I wanted to do something really special with our friends from Walmart. And I said to them, if I were a mother or father or caregiver and I received a bag for my special child, what would I want to have in that bag? Definitely heading into the winter, into the holidays, a warm, nice, fuzzy blanket. Like that would be awesome. And they said, Emmy, come through and pick out whatever you think these special heroes would like. And I said, well, if you have a warm blanket, you need to have some hot cocoa and some
Yes.
cookies to go with it. And again, we don't ever put food in our bags, but for these special children heading into the holidays with their families, we wanted the families to come together with them. And so, of course, you also need hats and gloves, all these fun things, couple little popcorn bowls. So that was a special project. But yes, we have tremendous partners like our friends from Walmart who really listen to what do these specific children need? What would they want? Especially if they don't have a voice like our Connor. What would make them feel like they are really loved?
You knocked that one out of the park. My kiddo loves that blanket. He snuggles with it every single day.
Sure.
And everything in the bag was just, you could see. And I think that was the biggest reason why I hunted you down because it was so beautifully thought out. And everything in it was something that Gabe was really excited about. You could see that just like Connor, Gabe doesn't speak, but I can tell we both can, my husband and I, when he is really excited or something piques his interest. And we see that through his eyes and just his expression. And he loved that. And thank you, because that really was so authentic.
Yeah. And that's really the bottom line of everything we do. It comes from the heart. We work with a lot of amazing companies, but at the end of the day, it all circles back to intention and heart. And for me, Connor is always front and center in everything that I do, from going to the grocery store and the interactions that I may have with the person bagging the groceries, the person stocking the shelves. It is how we treat each other. There is nothing more important than how we treat others. No one is above us. No one is beneath us. We are all human beings, and this is our first time on earth being human beings. So why not practice kindness everywhere you go? And trust me, there are many times I fail at this, but it's what you do with it that matters. You make a mistake, say you're sorry, move on. Like, let's always do better when we know how to do better. And let's work together. Even if we don't agree, let's agree to disagree, but move forward.
Yes. And here's the thing, too. These kids, these families, they won't forget that. They may forget exactly what was in the bag, but they are not going to forget that feeling you gave them with that bag.
That's right. And that's one of my most favorite sayings. And I think it's from Maya Angelou. They may not remember what you said, but it's how you made them feel that
Yes.
unforgettable.
Yes, yes. And that's why we need more of that. I
Yeah.
remember being in a grocery store line years ago with my Gabe, and he was looking up at these balloons, and there was a complete stranger in back of us. And he said, "Excuse me, would it be okay if I bought your son a balloon?" And I thought I was going to cry right then and there. And I said, "Oh my gosh, really?" And he said, "Yeah, he just looks so happy looking at it." And he bought it. And I said, "Do you mind if I take a picture of you with that balloon?" And it was just the sweetest little balloon that said, "You rock." And I swear, Gabe played with that until every bit of helium was out of it.
Right.
And I'll never forget that.
It's so true. Aaron, just before school went back, maybe late July, early August, somewhere in there, I was in Walmart purchasing school supplies, basically cleared out their back to school aisle. And so I had all these carts and thousands of notebooks. And I knew I was going to take up the line. And I got in line, and people were behind me, and they'd look at me and, not her again. So they'd leave the line. And this one gentleman stood behind me. And I said to him, "This is going to take a really long time scanning all of these notebooks, etc." And he said, "That's okay. Do you need me to help you count?" And I said, "Really?" Because I had already planned to be there for 45 minutes in the line. And he said, "Sure." And he just parked himself, and we were counting. And at the very end, he said, "Can I contribute?" And I said, "No, don't worry about it. We're good." He paid for the order.
Oh my God.
And he was there maybe to get a pair of socks. He walked out to the car with me, and I just lost it because there are so many good people in the world, and you hear about all of the bad things happening, but every day, all day, we see so much goodness. And I see goodness from the minute I wake up and I greet Connor to the minute I go to bed and everything in between. There is so much goodness in the world. It's all about how you choose intentionally to spend your day, how you look at others, how you contribute to the world. And it doesn't have to be financial. The greatest gift any of us, each of us, all of us can do is to move forward with our heart.
Yes.
That is what's going to change the world.
Oh my gosh. I love everything you just said as I wipe tears out of my eyes. That is the whole reason I started this podcast because we are fed the negative. The negative is sensationalized but oh my gosh, there's so much more good than bad. I keep thinking if there was more bad than good, then the good would lead the news. The news is all about what is more rare. The good, well, that's just another day of people doing the things that they should be doing.
Right.
So that's what I try to focus on as to why we hear so much of the negative, but there are so many good people, and you are such living proof. I love everything about this.
Oh, well, I'm grateful for the incredible stories that you're sharing. And life is a full circle. What you put out into the world always comes back tenfold. And so why not put out more good?
I couldn't agree more. And I hope that your story inspires others to do something that they've been maybe thinking about, but didn't know how to get it started or if it could even get started. Because one idea of yours has turned into a global act because you're not just in every state, you're international now.
Right. We're in 21 countries and our material is translated. It's been an incredible journey, but no one can do it alone. It's all about everyone working together to make the world a better place. And we can all do that. And don't be afraid to jump off into the deep end. You'll learn to swim, and you probably learn to swim a lot better than you ever thought you could. So never be afraid of an idea and turning it into something incredible that could really make the world better and brighter and full of hope.
Well, I'm here to tell you, you're going to have another elf because when we get done with this, I'm going to find out how I can volunteer and help because everything about this is positive and we definitely need more of that.
Thanks, Aaron.
I wish you absolutely the best of everything because you certainly deserve it. How about little 6-year-old you? What would you say to that 6-year-old right now if she was in front of you?
I would tell her never to be afraid. I was afraid. I was afraid that people would laugh. But you know what? When you believe in something as much as I believed in serving children and just having them know that they matter, people can laugh all they want. I don't even hear them anymore. I don't see them. I don't hear them because I'm focused on the end goal, which is delivering hope.
And you are doing that tenfold. Oh my gosh, Emmy, thank you so much. If people want to find out more, you have a website. Can you give me that information?
Yep, happyhopefactory.org. We look forward to serving the next million children in 5 years and not 15. So, yeah, we need all the help that we can get in packing bags. It's really the tremendous corporations that get behind the foundation in their team building effort in giving back that makes the biggest impact for us.
So, if corporations want to get involved and have this team building exercise that we were talking about, can they find more information on that website as well?
Absolutely.
Perfect. I am so inspired by Emmy. Please keep in mind if you have some idea of how to make the world better, how to make a difference, don't let the logistics of it deter you because every great thing, every great foundation, great accomplishment started with one idea. You'll be surprised at how many people care and want to help you make that idea a reality. My podcast is living proof. If I didn't have friends that taught me about it and YouTube, God bless YouTube, I wouldn't be here. So I appreciate all of that. And I appreciate you. Thank you for joining the Feel Good Frequency. If you like what you're seeing, tell your friends about it. This is a grassroots kind of thing because I do not have advertising funding, but I love that you're here and I hope that this brightened your day. If you have somebody in your life, somebody that you know, maybe it's you making a difference, I'd love to know the happy. AaronO'Malley'sFrequency.com is my website. You can email me through it. AaronO'Malley'sFrequency.com. Thank you for being here. Have a terrific week.